Hi, Soul Seekers. I just want you to know what I talk to you guys about, advice I give you, or different theories. I practice myself. That's why I wanted to emphasize in the last video, this is a practice. It's not something that comes naturally. It takes a lot of work to stay connected up to your soul. And I worked on that today. I was really working on my frequency level, which was my last video, on keeping it higher. And I did create a better day for myself than if I wasn't working on it. Nothing major happened, but it was just a more peaceful day. And I realized as I was keeping my frequency level higher, I was giving a lot more love because I wasn't in my head as much, focusing on all the other things that like to take over our brain. And so that made me want to talk about to you tonight about love. And I'm not talking about love for another person. I'm talking about the most important kind of love, and that's love for yourself. The reason that love for yourself is the most important thing is because there's many relationships we have in life. And if we're looking for somebody to complete us, somebody to love us unconditionally, or be there for us 100% of the time, that is not going to happen. There's a lot of love out there that you will receive if you allow it, from many different people. But the only thing that's going to make you feel complete is when you learn to love yourself. Because when you love yourself is when you are not going to allow so many bad things to happen to yourself, and you are going to start making intentional choices that you would for anybody else that you loved. So if you think about the person that you love most in life right now, you know, how you would treat them if you could treat yourself that way. So I'm going to go over 10 ways to start to begin to love yourself. 1, stop criticizing and stop judging. And when I say that, what I'm talking about is that inner dialogue that you have going on in your mind. What does it sound like? You know, are you constantly judging what you're doing, thinking that it should be better? Are you criticizing yourself? Are you being abusive to yourself? Are you calling yourself names? So I want you to be aware of doing that. I mean, that's not a very nice thing to do to yourself, and it isn't helpful. It doesn't serve you in any way. It's not going to make you do anything better. It's not going to make you feel better about yourself, and it surely isn't going to help you love yourself. Now, having said that, that doesn't mean you can't assess something. If you feel like, okay, say you felt like you said something wrong to somebody and you start obsessing on it. Oh, I was so stupid. Why did I say it that way? And, you know, that's not helpful. But that doesn't mean you can't assess it for a moment and go, okay, did I say that wrong? Did I, you know, possibly hurt that person's feelings? Or do I need to clarify myself? And maybe you do, maybe you don't. And then you have to make a decision. You either do or you don't, and you let it go. Because, you know, we're not perfect. So everything's not going to always come out perfect. So we have to stop criticizing ourselves and start talking to ourselves in a nicer manner. You know, like in that same scenario, if you said something and, you know, you didn't mean to hurt somebody, but you start overthinking it and you think, well, maybe I did. And, you know, you're allowed to say, well, you know what? I didn't mean to hurt him. So I hope I didn't, and move along, you know, unless, of course, like I said, you did. And then maybe you apologize and then move on. But assessing it would just be, I'm going to look at this for a minute and then see if I could have done anything differently to be the best I could be. Because we're not perfect and we'll never do everything perfect. But there's no need to beat ourselves up, call ourselves names, and whether that be about how we act, how we react, how we are feeling because of how someone else treated us, how we're feeling about our looks, how we're feeling about our career or where we're at in life. We need to just quit criticizing and judging. Start being nice to yourself. So I want you to be aware of that inner dialogue that you're having with yourself and just try to be a little softer. Try to treat yourself as you would treat someone else. Because if I was having a one-on-one consultation with you and maybe ask you what you were telling yourself, and I would say, put your friend in that same situation and say they did the exact same thing that you did or whatever, they have the issue that you have, how would you respond? I can guarantee it's probably in a more loving way than you're probably responding to yourself. So treat yourself as somebody that you love. Number 2, stop comparing yourself to others. Stop feeling like, well, so-and-so has this going for them, or they've got the perfect relationship, or they're much further ahead in their career, or you are a unique, special individual with a unique, special path that only you can go down to end up with the experiences that you need to end up to learn the lessons that you need to learn in this life. And you don't really know what's going on with other people, even though Sally may look like, she's got the perfect family and the perfect job at age 25 and you're 32 and you're still trying to figure it out. Well, she might be divorced by 32 and have lost her job. So you can't take a snapshot of someone else's life, especially, a Facebook life, and compare yourself to them. We are all meant to go through traumas at different times in our life to grow from them or to have different experiences at different times. So you may be learning what you need to know in a different way than what somebody else is. So, and they might be going down the path for what they do. So quit comparing yourself to others and learn to embrace your unique life experience. Number 3, accept your weaknesses. We all have weaknesses. We all have faults. Some of us have depression. Some of us have anxiety. Some of us are over emotional. Some of us maybe don't have as much confidence as we should. Some of us are poor. Some of us, I can go on and on. Whatever's going on in your life right now that you would consider a weakness, it's okay. Accept it. That doesn't mean you can't work on it. That doesn't mean you can't try to better yourself in those areas. But there's nobody out there with any weaknesses. And we tend to think of ourselves as 2 ways. This is the greatest us when we're on our game and we're not showing any of our weaknesses. They're all hidden. And then this is the other us that is totally into their weaknesses and not looking anything like this person. And so what we have to learn to do is not be 2 different people. Bring those people together. It's okay. It's okay to say, this is who I am, and this crap's going on in my life, or I suffer from this, or I have trouble with that. I'm working on it. That makes you genuine. That makes you authentic. And that makes you real. So accept your weaknesses and learn to love the imperfect you. Because think about it, if you found your mate and they were perfect, would you really love them? I don't know. I think somebody totally perfect would kind of be a little annoying. Because what would we have to relate on, I always have my crystals, if you're wondering what I'm fidgeting with here. I love my crystals. Number 4, parent your inner child. We all have an inner child that's been damaged or hurt in some way, whether it was through abuse, whether it was through bullying, whether it was through all kinds of issues. Witnessing abuse, it could be having a loss of a parent, it could be having a loss of a friend, but there's always something that happened in our life that is traumatizing. I would ask clients if they had experienced any trauma. Some people would say no. And I'd be like, okay, well, you're lying, because we all have had trauma. Maybe you just haven't identified it yet, but there is a little child in you that is suffering some hurt. So we need to learn to parent that child in a loving, nurturing way. And a lot of times those hurts and pains from our childhood or early adulthood can show up as blocks in our life. So we need to be able to tell that person that that's okay, instead of condemning for where maybe our shortcomings are. Because all they really are defense mechanisms. We aren't, I would say most people, almost all, I mean, we could get into a later debate about people that are murderers and different things like that, but their soul, their essence is good. What they end up doing or not doing that, in your life that you didn't like, whether it be something as simple as I overeat, or it could be something greater as I suffer from addiction, whatever it is, a lot of that is just, defense mechanisms, learning to cope with things that has happened earlier in your life. So if we learn to be a little softer on ourselves when we're not perfect, and parent that inner child and acknowledge them for those pains and let them know it's going to be okay, that you're an adult now and you're going to take care of them. Number 5, learn from past mistakes. Look for patterns in your life that don't feel so well. I would say relationships would be a good place to start. Do you keep ending up in one relationship after another where you don't feel good about yourself consistently? I mean, you are choosing that. So you have to identify, what am I doing that's allowing me to be in this job that doesn't make me feel good about myself, or to be in this relationship that doesn't make me feel good about myself, or live in this town that doesn't make me feel good about myself. You have to learn from your past mistakes. And if you're doing something that's hurtful to yourself or that isn't bringing you joy, stop and think, okay, that didn't work out so well. Don't beat yourself up over it, and try not to do it again. Whatever that may be. Say you went out and you overspent a bunch of money. Okay, so you feel guilty. You don't want to beat yourself up. Just assess it. Say, okay, I did that. I really messed it up. Maybe return a couple things if you can. If not, just don't do it again. Because if we're not learning from our past mistakes, then we're not growing. Now, that doesn't mean it's that easy. You might go back and do something you're trying to work on over and over again. Sometimes you have to give yourself grace and go, okay, I'm working on it. I did it this time less than last time, and I'm going to do even better next time. Number 6, which kind of leads into number 6, which is give yourself grace. No matter what we're working on, whatever we're trying to change in ourselves, it's not going to be black and white. It's not going to be, I want to eat better and then just start eating better tomorrow. And then if you want to make it work and not think in black and white, then you have to realize that it's going to take a while to change that pattern. So don't look at it as, I ate great today, and then you have the next day and you mess up. I failed, so can't eat better. and I'm going to beat myself up. That's not going to work. So what you do is okay, didn't have such a great day today. Give yourself grace. Start again tomorrow. And also create balance. Don't expect yourself to do everything at once, whether you're trying to work on how you're reacting to something, or you're trying to work out, you're trying to eat better, do it in baby steps. Give yourself credit if you've done anything better that day. Don't expect yourself to do it all at once, because if you do, you're setting yourself up for failure, and then starts the cycle of beating yourself up again. So you always want to give yourself grace, no matter how long you've worked on trying to better yourself in different areas in your life. Probably because these belief systems that we got from our life experience starting from age 0 on up, they're so ingrained in us. There's probably going to be a little bit of them show their head every now and again. And when that happens, that's when you say, that's okay. I see that, I'm aware of it, I'm going to try better next time. Be assertive, which is I'm trying to keep my numbers right this time. Number 7, be assertive. Ask for what you need. When you present yourself in the world, try to hold your shoulders back, make eye contact. It's just going to make you feel better about yourself. If you're walking around with your head down and you're shrugging your shoulders, not feeling good about yourself, it's going to show. Other people are going to see that, and then it's going to kind of reflect back to you. So even if you aren't feeling good that day, you're not feeling real confident, you're not loving yourself as much as you should, you know what? Fake it. Put your shoulders back, put a smile on. And as you do that, you'll just start feeling better about yourself. And be assertive. If you feel like you deserve a raise, go ask. What's the worst thing they can say? No. If you feel like you don't want to go to that party on Saturday night that your friends ask you to, no, thank you. Learning to say no. Huge. Number 8, pay attention to your needs and learn to ask for them, whether that be within relationships or just needs in general. Pay attention to what is it that I'm lacking. If it's in your relationship and you would like maybe a little more attention from your husband, let him know that. Don't sit back and tell yourself, oh, I'm not worth it. I don't deserve it. That's why I'm not getting it. You're probably not getting it because he doesn't have a clue on how to give it to you. So ask him for what you need. If you're at work and you feel like you need anything, simple, like some people have trouble asking, you know what, I need my office to be a little cooler. I'm sweating in here. It's 90 degrees. I had one client once that it was 90 degrees, but she was afraid to ask to have an air conditioning. Love yourself enough to go, I'm worth having an air conditioning, just like everybody else in this building does. So be assertive. Learn to ask for what you need. And pay attention to your needs. And that can go, like also just needs for yourself. Do I need to change jobs? Do I need to get a new car? Do I need to take some time off? But pay attention to your needs, just as you would for someone else that you loved. Be nice to your physical body. So that could look like a lot of things for a lot of different people. It could be, just taking that extra time to put the lotion on, making sure you're getting enough sleep, go getting a massage, doing your nails, grooming. If you're tired, resting. If you need to sit down, sit down. If you need a drink of water, go get a drink of water. If you need to eat, go eat. But Be nice to your physical body. And if you're working on any aspect, if you have any body issues, you're not going to get anywhere being mean. So you got to learn to love you just the way you are. And then any work in a different direction, it's only going to work when it's done with love. And number 10, give your soul compliments. And that's going to be my challenge to you guys today, is I want you to come up with 3 compliments to give yourself. Now, I want you to be careful. I don't want them to be compliments of like, well, I did a good job on that. Because you can know that you can handle one task after another, but that doesn't necessarily mean you love yourself. So I want you to reframe it in the way that maybe you're talking to your soul. So if you're like, well, I did a good job taking care of the kids today. What I want you to tell yourself instead is that I am a good mother. Or I did a good job project at work today. What I want you to tell yourself is that I am an intelligent being. I'm an efficient being. So change those compliments to reflect your soul. And that's going to be my challenge, is to give yourself 3 compliments a day. I will be doing that with you. And just in doing all those things, those 10 different things, 1, stop criticizing and judging. 2, stop comparing yourself to others. 3, accept your weaknesses. It's okay. Number 4, pay attention to that inner child. If there's any hurts from your childhood that you haven't dealt with. Number 5, learn from your past mistakes. Don't repeat self-defeating behavior, or at least try not to, or try to lessen it. Number 6, give yourself grace. If you screw up once in a while, that's okay. That's part of learning to love the imperfect you. Number 7, be assertive. Pay attention to your energy that you're putting out there in the world. And that will also go with being assertive, because as we were talking in the last video, if your energy is I love myself, that's going to be felt. And then other people are going to treat you with more respect and more love, because they're going to sense that. You're not going to become someone's, what's the word I want to use? Doormat. You're not going to become someone's doormat. Number 8, pay attention and ask for what you need, whether it's for yourself, like I just know I need this, or it's from somebody else, whether it be from your children, you need help cleaning the house more. So many people, especially women, like to say, well, I can do it better. Well, you know what? That gets tiring, and then you're worn out and you're not really loving yourself. Be nice to your physical body, whatever that might look like for you. I don't mean you got to go out and work out every day. If that is what is being nice to your physical body, to me, I'm not, majorly into working out, so I would do maybe a little yoga. But whatever it is, take care of yourself. You only have one body, and believe me, when you get older, you'll appreciate that. And then give yourself soul compliments. And that's my challenge to you guys today. So hopefully some of you can start utilizing and working on this. And I'll be working on it with you as well, as I always try to do what I preach. And I wish you all a soul-inspired day. And thank you so much for being here.